Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
They've stolen the ultimate weapon and brought the world to the brink of destruction. Now, one man is all that stands in their way. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, rated M for mature. Peace by any means necessary from Konami.
Hey guys, welcome to a new year in Podtendo land. We're with a Podtendo. Oh no, we've already done that. We've already had a show. No, this is our first numbered show of the new year, though. I guess I could say that. We are Podtendo. We analyze, reminisce, replay. No, we are retrospective review pop culture let's play show. I'm your co-host Mick. I'm joined by
Tyson.
Cool, and we do stuff. So, welcome to the first numbered show. Our James Bond top 10 list was a fast show. Even us talking about it, at one point I'm like, man, we're already at like 2? Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were the same. That's usually what happens sometimes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess in the nature of that, those kind of, if you're talking about like 12 movies, it is less important. But with that, we're kind of keeping in the vein of kind of James Bond, January, New Year. You want to watch some James Bond. You always see them pop up on the streaming service this time of year because they are movies you can just kind of marathon and they will just blend together and they're just there, just like this game. So in honor of that, we're not playing GoldenEye, guys. No, I'm not just playing the 007 experience. We're playing, it's like, kind of sort of James Bond-y Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. It's like,
yeah, very James Bond-y.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes where you're just like, I could see where you got this inspiration.
yes.
Just need a laser watch or a car that goes invisible.
Yeah, that's it. His tech was just too realistic, which is weird to say in a Metal Gear Solid world.
Yes. Even with a world with people with like superpowers.
So many superpowers.
A lot of fun.
So many superpowers. I just don't. But that's it, guys. We've done this for a while now. I actually went back and listened to our Metal Gear Solid show. Where we kind of look at that and the Twin Snakes. So that's the original PlayStation 1 release and then the remake on the GameCube. We talked about Metal Gear Solid 2 years ago, I believe. All right, and that was the release on one of the launch titles early on for the PS2, kind of one of the big selling features of that game. And then this is the sequel. So back on the same system, PS2, right? We haven't jumped a generation like we did between the last two games. So it's kind of a, interesting experience. And I'm glad I went back and kind of re-experienced those because it's been a hot second since I've kind of played all the Metal Gears. And you kind of have to talk about them all in the series and how they change and alter because they all kind of play off of each other, right? So I feel like pretty confident, pretty comfortable going into this conversation, and yeah, some views have changed with my replaying of this and just listening to old discussions. So getting excited to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. This game feels like it's the shortest one from Metal Gear. So,
like in terms of just like lack of content, and I think we said that in Metal Gear Solid. It seems like this big epic game, and then Metal Gear Solid 2 seems kind of like a faster version, and then this game is like, did you miss those 10 screens you just walked through? That was the game. Welcome to the ending. You're like, oh, okay, all right. So Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, developed by Konami. It sold 4 million copies across all versions. It was released November 17th, 2004. How Long to Beat has this game at 15 to 20 hours. eBay price, I don't have that down. Where to play, though? You can play an original PS2 version. You can play the Subsistence PS2 version. You can play on the HD Collection that's available on the PS3, 360, Vita. There's the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. That was released. And then Delta, Snake Eater, was just released last fall?
Yeah. Like October or something. Anyways, it was a, very, very accessible game. We're not getting a new one anytime soon, but, you can always play the old ones ad nauseum.
There's one available for $20, but looks like there's a couple more that are available for like 60 because they say they have the manual. Ooh, and 60 for the subsistence package, which is probably the package you want to play because I think that kind of has all the extra add-ons. Yeah, cool. And like the cool thing about some of those old subsistence packages too on like the PS2 is they came with like a bonus disc that has just extra features, which is just like extra material of the making of, and then you get to the subsistence release on the say like PS4. And you throw it in and you're like, yeah, it's going to be everything. And it like skips the second disc. I think actually it might even say disc 1. And you're like, I feel like you got rid of a lot of content when you released this. Gosh darn you. Gosh darn you. But you can get it, $60. And also very available. I definitely played it on Delta. I definitely played Delta for this experience. It's been a while. It's pretty much just scene for scene remake. It looks a little cleaner. Only then to discover, it's available on the Master Collection or whatever that I clearly have on my Wii that I played the Metal Gear Solid 2 on. So had access to this. I didn't even need to spend $100. Who knew? Huh.
Yeah, and it's not like it's really changed too much. It's like, hey, we upgraded the graphics and maybe the camera angle.
Yeah, I was like, interesting. So I don't know how I feel about that. Don't know. But I also wouldn't want to play a new version. Like playing Delta, I didn't want to play like a new game. I just wanted to play the old game. So I was kind of satisfied, but also disappointed. Not really sure how I feel. What I don't know how I feel, though, is how I felt about life in November 17th, 2004. So what we're going to do is we'll jump into our patented Wayback Machine before we talk about any more of this game. And we're going to get ourselves just into the mindset. So we might have been alive. You might be like, wow, if you're over the age of 20, you probably were doing stuff. Let's see what kind of stuff you could be doing. You'd be watching TV. Top TV shows from November 17th, 2004 was Lost, Desperate Housewives, House, Battlestar Galactica, and Deadwood.
Yeah, an okay chunk of stuff. I mean, I feel like I've been wanting to get into Battlestar Galactica, but
yeah, I've heard that. But I've also seen there's this like chart of IMDb rankings of House episodes, and they're like anywhere between like 7.8s to like 8.2s, and then it just gets to the end of season 4 or something, and there's like a 9.7 followed by a 9.7, and it just seems really daunting to like. I don't know if like I kind of want to watch the 9.7s. Like, why was it so good? Right? I don't know. I'm curious. Yeah. Anyways, top cartoons from 2004. We got Teen Titans, Winx Club, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, okay. I remember this time fondly. I mean, I'm a big Justice League fan, so I'm in.
And then for all the WWE heads out there, what was going on? So November 14th, 2004 was the Survivor Series. The matches included Spike Dudley winning the Cruiserweight Championship, Team Eddie defeating Team JBL, Booker T JBL defeating Booker T for the WWE Championship, Team Orton defeated Team Triple H, and the winning team would be in charge of Raw for the next 4 weeks.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
This is when it's like we're gonna put online who makes the matches, and you're like,
yeah. Okay. Then top movies. So in theaters was Incredibles, Polar Express, and After Sunset. Upcoming, you could watch National Treasures, Blade Trinity, and Ocean's 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Movies, nothing spectacular, but I mean, it's watchable. These are movies you can just put on and just have for background noise.
And just like all things in our lives, we only ever apparently go to like 4 dates in history. So Half-Life 2, Halo 2, Metroid Prime 2, Need for Speed Underground 2, and San Andreas were all the video games released specifically in the month of November in 2004.
Damn, that is a great month. That might be one of the best months ever.
Yeah, well, I'm like, okay, well, I knew we were on the Halo 2 train, and weirdly enough, I'm playing through the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, and I just started at San Andreas, and I've never played it before, and I'm like, of course you would have just came out, and I'm doing a podcast, and I don't understand time or life, but that's what November 2004 looked like. Cool stuff.
Yeah, some okay TV and movies.
Yep.
Awesome video games. So just maybe skip that TV and cartoons and movies. Just play yourself some of the greatest games ever made. So
Mom, we can cancel cable for a little while, but we should probably get Half-Life 2. A couple copies, just in case. Just
Yeah,
in case.
doesn't,
All right.
doesn't hurt.
Development details of this fun game. So Kojima wanted to drastically change the gameplay formula from MGS1 and MGS2. Instead of indoor stealth with radar, he wanted players to interact directly with natural environments: trees, grass, mud, water, animals, weather, all of it. The jungle setting was chosen deliberately. Kojima said it was forced the team to rethink stealth from the ground up, because the original MGS style doesn't naturally work outside hallways and bases. The team struggled to make a PS2 game look like the next PS3 concept. Many graphical systems, lighting, foliage, camouflage, blending, were beyond what the PS2 was really built for. Because of it, the team had to create new systems for camouflage reading, stamina and injury treatment, animal AI and hunting, terrain deformations. Kojima developed the game under the name Scene, as in the environment shaping soldiers and society. Character design, Yoshi Shinakawa ensured Naked Snake and Solid Snake looked similar, but gave Big Boss a more youthful, imperfect look to match his arc. The original camera was top-down like MGS2, but fans begged for a free camera, so they created Subsistence, adding the improved camera system. See? I knew there was something about Subsistence specifically in this game, and I was like, if you can, and for $60, that's about what the other one is going for, get yourself a copy of Subsistence. So that means if you played the Wii copy or whatever that collection is, in theory, you should be able to move the camera.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't even remember this coming out on the Wii.
Wii? Did I say Wii? PS2?
Yeah, you said Wii.
On the PS2?
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all good. It's all good.
Behind the scenes, we're playing a Wii game. I found that I have like 3 Wiis. They're all dead. I'm looking at buying Wiis. The other day, for $100, I could leave my house. When I come home, I'll have 6 Wiis. And my wife called me crazy and took my money away. So
that might be a bit excessive. The Wii's not even good enough to own one copy.
Yeah, like I have 3 that are broken. I need backups. I need a backup. That's all. Anyways, yeah, there was something specifically. If you see the Subsistence package, and if you were to play it on the Metal Gear Solid collection on the PS3 that you have, that has all the games, like even the old ones, does it have MGS3 on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So in theory,
Yeah,
that should
I know
have...
this because I actually pulled out the old PS3 and got it all set up.
Nice.
And then I realized, I'm like, do I have a cable that can charge these old... Because they're like mini USB, not even micro. It's like, oh, wow. Do I have this cable? So...
Yeah, that is the thing. How do you keep
times.
things charged? I just end up buying just controllers. Anyways. Where are we at? The original, nope. The game's famous Bond-style themed Snake Eater and logo were intentional tributes to the 1960s spy films. Kojima said Metal Gear Solid 3 was a game he almost wanted to make a story about the Big Boss, the true origin point of the entire Metal Gear saga. Cool development details.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's like this game from like a development standpoint, it's like, wow, this does not look like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
This straight up looks amazing. Probably the prettiest, most like technically complex. But again, like the Kojima team was always pushing it. I know even the Metal Gear Solid 5 can run on like a potato of a laptop, and it runs perfectly fine, and it looks gorgeous. They're just so good at optimizing all these things at this point. It just, from a technical standpoint, like this game is incredible. Like the camouflage, the different, like they kind of did really take a step back when they're like, okay, like what would the technology have been during this time period? And they just nailed it. It's so cool. I always think of this as just playing like a really good James Bond video game, because there's not many of those.
Yeah.
This was like, hey, if you want to scratch that itch, just play some Metal Gear Solid 3, because it's got the theme song, got like, I think there's even the tuxedo that you can rock in the Delta version, and it's just so much fun, very cool. Got like some
my personal
awesome
costume
sci-fi.
was I put the gold suit on, and I was gold most of the time, and people would remark about how wonderful I looked as a golden god as I went around the world. Because I mean, they caught me anyways. Everyone caught me all the time. I'm like, well, let's just make it fucking easy then, guys. I guess it's the guy with the golden gun. Pow pow pow.
Yeah, good times. You know what? It's like this game's not. I'm always surprised how fast and quick this game is, and it's not super difficult. I struggle with one boss, and that's it.
Yeah, I had a couple. Well, we could chat about that. The parts I'm like, I hate this game. This game is terrible. Now, is it an upcrease in difficult? Like, is normal mode? Was I missing something? I maybe didn't know about the life medicine until the final boss. So, I mean, I had like 5 of them, so it was nice. It like helped there. I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't waste these throughout the game. But I was like, oh, you can heal. Interesting. Cool. The controls of this game, like we've been alluding to. How does the game handle? So you move with the left stick. Snake has weight in his movements. He feels more real. CQC is kind of a new major mechanic. So it's a special type of grappling. So you can grab, interrogate, throw, slit throat, and disarm enemies with it. Camouflage menu allows you to change your outfit and face paint to match the environment to optimize how well you are hidden. Healing or hunting is essential. You must eat to keep up stamina, and then you forget about it, and then your controller is just like growling at you because you have a hungry stomach, and you're like, but I don't have any food that's not rotten. I just don't care. But apparently at some point you get a fork, and you can walk around with the fork and just like eat things, and that'll like whatever. You can also just cheese the game. It's kind of silly. Healing requires manual treatments. Oh, this is poof. Love that. Do you love menus? Do you have just clicking on things? It tells you like click band-aids. Because you get click that a lot. You splint bones and you disinfect wounds and bullets. Hey, every time a bullet hits you, guess what? You get to dig it out and disinfect it, put a stim pack, and then bandage. It's awesome. Radar's gone, though, so you have to rely on your sonar, motion detector, and listen carefully. And codec returns, but it's more advisory and less constant than Metal Gear Solid 2. Yes, Metal Gear Solid 2 is one giant codec conversation, and it's just two faces talking. It's interesting, but it ultimately is kind of boring. This game does less of that. It also makes sense.
Yeah, this
hey,
game
hold on, Jack.
Does.
I'm going to fight you. Hold on, I just got to talk to the AI girlfriend in my ear about, I don't know, information about the future, apparently. 1 second, Mr.
How about let's go on for the 90th time about Les Enfants Terribles. Let's go into more detail about how you were a child of war. Let's talk about this. It's like I know we just talked about this, but I feel like we got to talk about it some more.
Yeah. Anyways, controls. Yeah, the controls they handle all right. I do enjoy the CQC as just a better way of interrogating enemies. So just be able to run up and even slam them into the ground and just knock them out. Great way to deal with people. In playing older games, it is very annoying that you see a guy and you like roll into them and they just kind of like stand there and look at you. You don't really get to knock them out. So I did enjoy that part. The camouflage is interesting in concept. And healing is interesting in concept. It's more of the frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes a bit of a burden.
Ugh, such a burden.
But it's a very interesting idea. Like, I'm glad that they tried to do something different, but is it pretty onerous and like just a burden to deal with some days? Yes. I found the camouflage was like cool. This is a cool concept, but then you walk into a new screen or you go like, oh, I'm out of the brush and now I'm here next to a brown wall. Should I switch my stuff or should I just say screw it? And a lot of times you just kind of say screw it. So I found it
one of the most
only
interesting,
really useful in go on.
Interesting parts of the camouflage is there is a release on the 3DS. So the M3DS release of Snake Eater. Harder to find, obviously, but if you had it, you can actually use the 3DS camera to like take certain camouflages, ultimately making 100% camouflage possible. So you could just basically become invisible in the game. So I was like, well, that's kind of neat. And like, if that was a feature, you know, like I could like upload pictures onto my file from my phone or something and like just cheese the system. Cool. Awesome. Let's make it more complex. But yeah, just to be like, do I care about a 40 or a 60%? Like, does that ultimately mean anything? Because like, they don't see me at 40. Right?
Yeah, honestly, it really only matters in like a couple key boss fights, and I think that's where I struggled for a long time because I wasn't like, just kind of forgot about it because I didn't really use it very often.
Yeah, you just stand in the corner and try and boss hog it, and you're like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you switch a couple of your camos and like a more difficult boss, and you're like, oh, this is hilariously easy. Why did I ever struggle with this?
I did beat the boss again as a gold person, so it might have made it more difficult on myself. First memories of this game. First off, we have to ask our dear friend, our writing partner actually now, ChatGPT. You've been around for a while. You've been playing these games. You love retro games, ChatGPT. Let's see what its first memories is. I remember this game feeling massive, like a PS3 quality on the PS2. The first time I lost stamina because I forgot to eat, I thought the game was broken. Oh, silly ChatGPT. I remember thinking the boss was the coolest character in the series before the end ever happened. I recall the end can die of old age if you wait long enough. Trivia blowing my mind. I must have replayed the Virtuous Mission 10 times because I kept alerting the whole forest. What? Hold on. We got a 10 times? What? There's 3 screens.
Yep. Apparently ChatGPT isn't very good at these games.
There's 8 guards. 10 times? Also, who cares? Just run to the next screen. That's how I beat this game. Any screen, like the cheat of this game. You're on a screen, it's tough. If you can get to the door and just get into the next screen, even when you die, you just start in the next room with no guards and full health, and you just keep moving. So, 10 times? And then also, why did every animal I caught rot instantly? I swear the game's clock sped up if I forgot to save. Okay. Neat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I know about that one. It goes by so if you're sitting down and playing it, or if you're one of those people that you're like, oh, okay, I did this room and we save, come back another day. It's like, yeah, well, the in-game clock is still counting, so your stuff will rot. Okay. So it almost encourages you to play good chunks of the game at one time.
And then do a restock. Okay, interesting. Do you have any actual first memories of this game? I'm imagining you were a functioning adult and not just some useless AI.
I feel like you were playing this game more than I was playing this game. And then I was playing Halo 2 and being like, this is my life right now. So yeah, I remember you playing this game. I didn't end up playing this game until I ended up getting the whole HD collection and then just diving into it and was like, wow, this is a fantastic game. So... yeah, don't remember a lot of it. What about yourself?
All right, so I don't know. So I never played this until I left for university. So actually, let's see. I don't think I actually played this game until 06. So it would have been, I found it pretty easy to wait a few months. And then I think I picked it up for $20. How do I know that? Because I went to a shelf and I literally have my original copy of this game that's sat on my shelf since second year university, which was 06. Yeah, at least 06. So obviously I waited a little while to pick this one up. This would have been around the time I think I played through RE4. I didn't find it too difficult or interesting or worth going back to. I think I've played MGS 1 and 2 for fun, but this game, honestly, I don't have a lot of fond memories. It's kind of one of those, I remember playing it, but it wasn't that great, and there was to eat, something like that. As a general rule, most prequels suck and are pointless. Yeah, that's why I've never played Metal Gear Solid 5, because again, I don't care about that story. I don't really care about anything before Metal Gear Solid 1, because that's kind of the best one. And then stuff afterwards, cool. But before that, I'm I don't care that Darth Vader was a pod racer. That's stupid. That's a stupid thing to tell me. You're wasting my time. Dumb. I want to see Solid Snake's story. I cannot care less about Big Boss and his complicated backstory. Give me a 5-minute YouTube video to explain the lore. The story isn't really enough to want me to go back and watch it again slowly. So that's my original thoughts on this game.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I really enjoy the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So to me, it's how does this all work together? Is it coherent? Because I always felt like it just wasn't coherent. And then as I've slowly played all the games, you're oh, I actually understand this quite clearly. It just is a lot because Kojima likes to be let me tell you some BS for the next hour and a half of your life. And
sure.
Cool, thanks.
So this is
this way quicker.
The only nice thing about this is the beginning. This is the very first inciting incident in the whole story, right? So wanting to get kind of a bit more fleshed out, learn a little bit more about the backstory, it gets worse after this. You could probably play this game, but then yeah, you do need a 20-minute YouTube video explaining what happens kind of between this point and even MGS1. I could do it. I think I have it. I think I could kind of like roughly talk about it. So maybe after the end, if you want, we can kind of talk roughly about the lore. But for the purposes of this game, you don't really need to know anything, which is kind of nice. And I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 also works well with that, right? That's the one nice thing about that is it's a standalone game. You could just play it. You'd have a narrative. You'd move on with your life. You don't really need to know about all the other stuff and the big boss. You just accept it and move on. Whereas Metal Gear Solid 2, playing that game cold on its own as a standalone title doesn't work at all. You'd be like, I have so many questions and there was literally no answers. And at the end, apparently my girlfriend was AI. What? Why was I not called...
Yes.
Why was I not called Naked Snake? Why did they change my name to Raiden? That's so weird. Like, it's just so many questions, you know. But the one, again, nice thing is this is its own little universe, right? There's some fun things, but they do weird things. Like, at some point, you just have Raiden's face. Why do you have Raiden's face?
To make a joke.
Yeah. I guess. Okay. That's the story. So in 1965, CIA operative Naked Snake. Wait a second. Pretty sure that was Raiden's code name in Metal Gear Solid 2 before they changed it to Raiden. All right. Let's see if they change it again. Sent into the Soviet jungle to rescue a scientist and stop a nuclear crisis. His mentor, the boss, defects to the USSR, sparking global tension. Snake must confront her, survive the Cobra unit, destroy the Shagohod tank weapon, and unravel a conspiracy that shapes the future of the Metal Gear universe.
Yeah,
Shagohod.
this really does...
Zero.
Really does,
What's going on?
Yeah, this really does just set up the whole universe of, like, who's the Lale Lulelo? Why do they matter? What's going on? And then they talk a lot about, like, the prophecy's legacy or whatever, which is essentially just money. It's just money. That's what this boils down to, is just money.
So if we don't get into it here, let's play this. So we assume that we're spoiling this. You've played the game, you're familiar, you've watched the video. You're not just going into it cold because we may not do the greatest job. There is the bad guy of this game, Colonel Volgin. After the end of the First World War, all the great powers came together and created something called the Philosophers. They're the Philosophers. They had this big store of money, and they would control kind of how the world would unfold to make sure no major events happen in the future. It kind of fell apart. World War II happened. It was dissolved. This great sum of money still existed, and I believe his father defected from the group, stole what was called the Philosopher's Legacy, which essentially is like $100 billion in funds hidden around the world that you can do anything with. He builds a giant Shagohod tank. He builds a giant fortress of Groznygrad. He is able to pay for a private military exclusive to the USSR and go against Khrushchev, right, with this great kind of amounts of money. So that's kind of the backstory of what we're up against, right, and who the boss joins, and kind of what everyone is after in this game at some point will come up. So that's kind of just a quick backstory of what is the Philosopher's Legacy. It's $100 billion in 1964.
Yeah, it's all the monies.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the game revolves strictly around that. So, the level notes. So, again, this next part is going to take you about 10 attempts to get through because you're going to learn the whole jungle. So, the virtuous mission. Snake parachutes into the jungle. We were introduced to stamina, camo, and CQC. We have to rescue Sokolov, so sneak through the forest, avoid dogs, and watch out for swamp traps. Our first encounter is with Ocelot and his young, cocky revolver boy energy. The boss returns, throws Snake off a bridge, breaks his arm, steals his gun, and defects. The mission fails, a nuclear explosion happens, and it is blamed on America. So
Yeah. They assumed that Snake sent it off, and they're like, it wasn't us. And the USSR is like, yeah, but it's clearly you guys. Why would we blow up our own, like, lab site or test site or whatever? It's like, because Vulcan's a jerk.
you mean that guy, the general that just built himself his own fortress in that mountain? He seems like a legit nice guy. It's weird. Huh.
Yeah. He's definitely up to. He's on the level. He's not up to no good at all.
Isn't he also an electric man? Yes, he's an electric man. Oh, perfect. Well, that's sure. We have lots of electric people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Superpowers are real in this world.
Isn't that right, Sigint, weapons expert? Huh? You standing over there being all chiefy, DARPA chief you. Oh, man. So from that, a week later, we were given, or a couple days later, we spend in hospital. We recover, and we were given a week to figure out who actually set off the bomb. Was it Russia or the USA? So Operation Snake Eater begins. Snake is stitched up and sent back in. We get introduced to our other characters. We were supposed to meet Adam in the first game. He never showed up. And then Eva. So we meet Eva now. This whole section is learning about eating food, curing injuries, using face paint, crawling everywhere. The forest now has heavier patrols and traps. We reach Rastovich, regroup with Eva, prepare for infiltration, and you fight off men in the cabin, and then move through 2 to 4 jungle scenes before fighting Revolver Ocelot on some cliffs. Okay,
yep.
All right. Yeah.
Yep. It, good little intro area with a small boss scene.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of getting you established in some of the gameplay systems. It's kind of like it's a slow start. Like that first part is like very like, standard mission.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, let's actually do a proper tutorial. So yeah, it's all right.
And it is kind of, like literally 2 to 4 jungle scenes. That's it. And then you're in the same cabin that you were at in the beginning when you met Sokolov, and it's smaller. And one of the ways they got away with, how do you make this big game, this big asset? You have all these big cutscenes. You make it seem bigger than life. The game is actually quite small, and that is just a thing that'll come up repeatedly, right? To draw a straight line, to draw the map of this game, yeah, it's possible. I don't know if this game is much bigger than, say, like Shadow Moses, right? So again, just I guess in this team's building, one of the ways they built games was like, we keep areas small, big shells, Shadow Moses, this kind of Russian jungle, and just fill it full of cutscenes and environments and engaging conversations, right? That people feel like it's bigger. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it feels very original Metal Gear on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
There's good graphics.
Yep.
So.
And that's kind of it too, right? It's one of those things, why I don't come back to this game. Same reason I don't go back to the MSX Metal Gears. I don't want to sneak around a jungle and fight dogs, right? I don't know. And then go to a base. Doesn't sound like I want to be in Shadow Moses. That's where Snake goes. But from there, and then the Revolver Ocelot boss fight is just kind of a fun duel. You can shoot like environmental traps. You can shoot wasps down on him. And then wasps show up at the end of the fight. So after the fight, we are attacked by bees. We flee into the ravine and explore to find the next boss fight. So underground, hornet nest area. He summons bees. This is the pain. As weapons, fires mini machine guns, and has bee shields. So typical IGN advice. Use grenades. Stay moving. Shoot when the shield drops. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the strategy. I mean, unless you run out of grenades, then it's a little trickier. But
I don't think
pretty easy.
I don't think I even used. I think I just stayed in the water and would just watch him and swim around. And then when his shield went away, I'd shoot him and repeat. It's not terrible. At some points, you might need to like chill in the water and eat some fish, and then just like sit behind a rock and not get attacked and get some health back. It's great. It's fast paced. Then we escape the tunnels and we come into a jungle, and we are tasked at finding a scientist in a base.
Yep. Kind of more like, okay, you did those 4 screens. Now this is how you do these 4 screens.
Yeah, that's it.
So, rinse, repeat for a lot of it.
Yeah, I think this one too. That's sneaking through some jungle areas. There's a little fortress you have to sneak by at some point, and if you cause a ruckus, again, just shoot to the next screen and you're fine. We escape back into the jungle, climb a mountain. Oh, but first we have to fight the Fear. There's a poison swamp jungle. The Fear zips around trees with superhuman speed, and use thermal goggles and poison him. And he has a stamina bar, which makes it unique. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this was one of the first bosses that really just kind of kicked my butt.
Yeah, he's tricky, especially since he's so darn quick and invisible, and he just like rips around. Hopefully you got a lot of AK-47 and ammo, and you just like can shoot him. So
yeah, I just kind of, I think the strategy was I found a little wall, he jumps between 2 branches, got his timing down, shot him a bunch, and then took pauses, ran, repositioned myself, and just tried to keep some distance on him. Wasn't super challenging. But I think just staying in one spot and then he runs up to you and he just like splatters you and you're on the ground, that's the bad strategy. You should be up and moving at that point, and you can kind of hide, right? They don't always know where you are. They kind of lose you as well. And I guess the only other point, I think I forgot the first part of that sentence that probably when I started reading, after sneaking into the base. So this is a part where you have to kind of sneak into the jungle, past the little base. You have to find a guard or even hold up a guard to find that you have to like knock on the door, put on a guard's uniform, sneak into the base. You come into contact with Sokolov here? No.
I think so, yeah.
The drunken guy. You meet the drunken guy in like the parlor,
yeah.
and you have to sneak past like the scientist. So at this point, you're dressed up as, you have a Raiden mask, a scientist uniform. You sneak through a base, you talk to this drunken guy and learn about what the Shagohot is, which is a free-moving tank capable of launching a nuclear technology from anywhere. You just need a 3-kilometer runway, and you can launch a nuclear weapon. You don't need a giant silo.
Yeah, and no one would ever know where it came from.
Yeah.
Because, it's movable.
Yeah, so again, important part of the game, but it's obviously forgettable. Oops.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore dumps in this game, so it's hard to keep everything track of what happens when.
Mm-hmm. But sneaking back kind of to like the you kind of go off on your T, and as you're headed back, that's when you fight the fear. From there, though, after defeating the fear, we explore through the jungle, jump over a fence, and we find out we are in a sniper duel with the End. So it's a massive multi-zone sniper duel, forcing him to move by tracking his footprints and planting sensors. So you can kill him early with a sniper shot, wait a week for him to die of old age, you can tranquilize him and get stealth camo, or you can have an amazing 40-minute duel. It's one of the greatest boss fights in video game history.
Yeah, I think this is a sniper battles are always very like interesting and like kind of climactic. It's a cool one. You're constantly like trying to sneak around and outmaneuver him. He's a cool one. I mean, you can cheese it, but I think it's a good enough boss battle where you should attempt it. If you get frustrated, just wait a week.
I know. I think I beat him on the first time, and this time I just set my clock ahead and then turned the game on, and he was dead, and saved and just kept going. And I was like, no time for you. Interesting, cool boss fight. Yes, cool environment, cool area. If you are willing to just sit and kind of enjoy and take kind of parts, if you're trying to beat this game maybe for a podcast and you're like, I got to get going. I have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm definitely not going to be sick for like a week around Christmas, and I have so much traveling. I won't have time to just sit and do nothing. Yay, flus.
Yeah, never fun to get sick, especially around the holidays.
Yeah, but anyways, that's why I skipped through it, right? Because I was like, I gotta go, but I apparently had time. So we climb from there. We climb up a very long ladder. It plays a Snake Eater theme. It's kind of cool. We from there explore through a mountainy battlefield, and then we rendezvous with Eva. We learn how to sneak into the base before heading into some tunnels.
Yeah. This one's you got to kind of climb up to a mountain. I always remember this one because there's like the helicopters flying around or whatever.
And at some point you alert the guards and you're like, I'll get into this anti-aircraft weapon and shoot down all the helicopters and men, and that's how I'll win. No, you just sneak through your little fox tunnel and wait. And then you sneak to the door and it's done.
Yeah, this game's very much like, you could go loud, but like sneaking is so much easier. Just do stealth.
Well, and then your gun blows up. Like I'm sitting there and like I'm dealing with all these tanks and guys and they're throwing grenades, and it was just like overwhelming. And I was like, son, why does this exist? Like, why are you letting me play in the sandbox with a fun anti-aircraft gun, but you're like making it so like I just don't. It should be overpowering. Maybe guys keep coming, right? Like they'll never stop, but I should feel overpowered in that sense. I don't know why I'm like, why is this so hard? This part I ended up spending a lot of time in those little rat tunnels, just chilling while guys walked around, and I'm like, ugh. This is one of those moments where I'm like, a sneaking game, you kind of, unfortunately, because you are just limited by video games, right? What you see, what you can perceive. Soliton radar is almost a must, and I think these are the parts where I really feel that. I'm like, I know I have other radars and I'm supposed to use it and it's supposed to be of the time, but like we should have just made a conceit of, we're trying this new Soliton radar. You can take it away at times, but it should just be there, and it's like, oh, this is what a neat concept. I don't know. That's probably one of my biggest gripes is just like the sneaking in this game. How do you do it? How do you know where guys are? It always just seems like I walk around a corner and say, oh, what's that? It's like, where were you? How did you see me? I don't know.
Yeah. There's quite a bit of those people. Like, you think that there's 3, and then it turns out there's 5, and you're like, well, son of a. I think that's the whole point. Is just to kind of go slowly or whatever. But because we're kind of on a time crunch, it's like feels like you almost got to like push it. I feel like if we were kids, you would just sit around, memorize locations, try to like use your pinging or use your sonar or whatever. You know what? It is what it is. It's a very heavy stealth game.
Yeah.
I guess the whole challenge of is
well, it just seems like
you guessing of where the next person is.
It seems like that should be something that exists, sure, on normal hard or something. But like there's, again, I think there could be chances like, oh, the Soliton radar works in this area. Cool. Oh, they have little transponders so they can communicate better with their radios in these big environments. Then we can just piggyback off of it. There's an explanation. I don't know how radars work or radios, right? But from there, into tunnels. Oh, cool. So now we're in these dark tunnels. Oh, man. Fire everywhere. We fight the Fury. So as we're kind of heading down, we fall down. This ex-astronaut, I guess he's a cosmonaut, shows up, and he's got a rocket pack and a spacesuit and flamethrowers. Why not? Use cover, shoot when he lands, watch for the reflecting lights. Looks amazing on the PS2. And afterwards, we explore the base. No, let's talk about the Fury. I hated the Fear. He wasn't bad, but the Fury was really challenging because I hate him because he'd knock you down and then you're on fire, and then you just lay there on fire, and by the time you get up, he like hits you again, and you're basically just dead. So if he ever gets close to you, you're just dead.
I always try to stick and move. Like if you're gonna hit him, just like keep moving. Try not to get ever close to him because he will ruin your day. I found just using like a sniper rifle, which takes off a huge chunk of his health. You just like snipe him, fucking run, roll. Because as soon as you get lit on fire, it's like you can roll. You just do like little like ground rolls, and they'll actually make it go out. Or you can use a box, or you can shoot some of the water pipes, and it'll like put you out. But yeah, it's a trickier one. Definitely one of the more tricky boss battles.
So I will say, I
feels like.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Like Jetpack Man.
Sure. Fear, it seemed much more challenging the rest of the game. I'm playing the game, I'm like, okay, I got caught, I run to the next screen, it's over. And then these boss battles come, and I'm like, I'm like playing them 10 times. Like, ChatGPT's right, you're playing them so much. So I played through the Fears, and I just skipped. And then the Fury, like probably a dozen times I played it, and it's just so annoying. Now, I didn't know about the water tanks, because like, everything just is black. I don't know, there's a water tank? I don't know. Make a better game. Make a better looking game. Show me somehow. Teach me how to beat this guy. A lot of the other bosses throughout the rest of the game, I might have watched strategies and looked up like how to beat them. And then I was like, oh, it's really easy if you know what you're doing. So maybe I should have just looked up a strategy rather than suffering. Afterwards, though, we explore the base. We find a scientist, sneak into a cell, and we are captured and tortured by Volgin.
Yep. And it's a pretty brutal scene. You get your eye shot.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. First off, I don't know how when you are a scientist, how people, because I was my scientist guy in my outfit, and as I was running, they're like, "Oh no, it's a scientist," and everyone saw me.
Because the scientist will recognize that you're not actually a scientist. The military people will assume that you're a scientist.
I know that
but the scientist will alert you.
I just got into an office and I just like flipped into a couple guys, and then I just waited for everything to like disappear, like the alert status to go away. And as I left the room, the Raiden looking guy was just literally walking up the steps. So I like tranked him, dragged him over a scene. Hey, you move on. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what we wanted me to do there, but there was more. I just did it bad. I got caught, ran into a room, and then he came and found me. So yay. But yes, from there we get captured. There's a brutal torture scene where you get punched, you get your eye shot out. Makes sense. You do wear an eye patch. And then you're kind of left in a cell. And Joni Akiba from the rest of the series shows up, and he has diarrhea.
Yes. And all my sons are named Johnny. First male is always named Johnny.
Well, it's not him, but I do believe, yes, it is his grandfather or father or something, right? And
Yeah, it's all the Johnny lineage that's in every single Metal Gear games for some reason. It's like, yes, the toilet man.
At one point, you do get this ability to press R whenever the boss is around, and you see this guy floating, and he gives you a frequency. So a couple options to get out of the cell is you can tune into the frequency, which opens the door. You can play dead, and then revive yourself and knock the guard out. I think I played dead. No, I opened the cell in front of the guy, then played dead, came back to life, and he was still just shooting at me. So then I ended up just killing him and got out. And I was like, yeah, it's probably not how you're supposed to do this. Probably supposed to pick one, like one option or the other, not both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to kind of like mess around with the guards. You get to talk to Johnny. You get to throw all the rotten food that they keep trying to feed you out, and they go, "Oh, well, hey, thank you." And they're like, "Ah, yes,
yeah,
classic,
metal,
yeah." Johnny
Butthole Guard. From there, yeah. So when we do escape, we collect our equipment. We sneak out. I feel like we just have to get to like an underground tunnel or something. Some guards chase us and some dogs. We end up at the end of a pier. Ocelot goes to shoot us. We jump down into the river. And then we end up in the Sorrow fight. So this is part of the game I almost quit. Because you slowly walk up a river. And everyone you've ever killed is in the river. So if you've killed no one, it's a sad short walk. If you massacred guards, good luck. But as soon as you die... And I died a couple times. And I was like, fuck, how do you do this? So I reset, tried again. And I died again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate this so much. And then I looked it up and they said, oh, when you die, you just use a revival pill and come back to life. What? So you just like...
Yeah, it's
dunk your head in the river.
Waste of time.
Dunk your head in the river and just die. And then when you're dead, you take your revival pill in your tooth and you come back to life and it just moves on. I'm like, I replayed that 3 times? I hate this game so much.
Yeah, it's a little like out of left field. So
it doesn't handle very well. I would say that compared to the original, I remember playing through this game, and it's funny, right? Rivers are just defined. Like I find, like when you're in a river, you see it's a little channel, it's uniform, there's water in it, and you like swim around and move. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's everywhere, and it's kind of stupid. Like whatever river is kind of a uniformed little channel. That's not how rivers work. It's kind of like the Legend of Zelda or Ocarina of Time rivers. You're like, that's not how rivers work, but they work. In this game, the river's just kind of like everything's mushy and nothing's defined. And as you're walking around and trying to avoid people, there's parts of the river that feels like it's like 2 snakes wide. And I'm like, this river's giant. What's stopping me? Like, there's just crap in the ground that I can't walk past. Like, how are you explaining this to the game other than just giving me terrible controls and terrible walking? And it's just painful. And I'm like, is this what video games are now? We just suck. We just walk around and it's terrible to walk through water. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I want to do this. No, like, I want to walk through water in mucky swamps in real life or in games now. It's terrible. It feels awful. It feels really weighted. Yeah, but it's a video game. I don't want to feel terrible. I want to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was just kind of like going for a little unique kind of aspect of the game. And honestly, I blink and this part's over. It's so easy.
Yeah, because if you revive, you know that. But if you die 3 times and you do it and you walk past all these guys, and I'm like, I hate walking in water so much because of this game. But we go from there and like maybe just look up the boss strategies from here. Okay, we'll see if I can beat this game. So we regroup in a cave before heading to the base once again. Setting some charges in the Shagohod hangar, and then we have to fight Volgan. So the boss here, he has lightning attacks and CQC. Cool. How did I cheese him? I think you literally run up to him. You can like CQC him to the ground, and you just like hit him twice with your tranq gun quick in the head, and it drains like a quarter of his health every time.
Yeah, pretty easy boss fight.
Oh, so easy. The first 2 times I played, though, I was like trying to drop water, and I just kept dying. And I'm like, I'm missing something. And I looked up a little strategy, and I was like, 2 attempts, done, no problem. And I was like, cool, okay. No hits. I think maybe the second time I beat him, too, like, he hit me once. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Should have just looked up strategy earlier. Cool. Fun. I do believe if you get... When you do camo, so I've said that a couple times, or sorry, you stealth kill, so eliminate their stamina rather than just bullets, you get kind of extra camo, or that kind of looks like them. And this one you get like a USSR. So it's like a bright red, it's got like the sickle and little moon, and it's kind of neat. From there, we escape sequence on a motorcycle. And Metal Gear Solid, this becomes an action movie. You have unlimited ammo, so you just grab your gun, and I think you might have to shoot someone. I'm not sure. It might just do whatever it wants, independent if you shoot anyone.
Yeah, you got to kind of clear out the enemies as they're standing in your way or whatever. Ava does a pretty good job of just navigating you through it. So
Volgin also jumps out of the tank or the hangar as it explodes in the Shagohod, and is chasing you down. It seems like I don't like that Eva's driving around on this motorcycle. She's kind of terrible. She kind of like drives in like terrible routes and stops and gets stuck. And I'm like, I just feel like if I was driving, I would just drive in a straight line. Seems like she drives in like circles to try and get escape. We'll never escape, like, because you're driving around the same area 3 times. Just go forward.
yeah,
We do continue getting chased. We have other guys in the motorcycles. Ocelot chases us at one point, which then ultimately leads to us running over a bridge. We shoot the bridge or charges that are set on the bridge. The Shagohod, all the men fall, but the Shagohod actually comes back, which sets up our first boss fight. So we fight against the Shagohod. We have unlimited ammo. We're in the back of the sidecar. We have a grenade launcher or RPG, and you just cheese it.
Yep. Shoot one track, shoot the other track, shoot them in the middle, rinse,
Done.
repeat until this phase is done.
Yeah, like very simple, super easy. Although I think one of these I almost died on. There's maybe the second part. So now Eva continues on the bike. You're on the ground. It's basically just repeat. If you can keep the RPG at 20 bullets, just shoot Volgin as much as you can, and he like dies pretty quickly. Although this one he kept running me over, and it came down to somehow he like hit me and I didn't die, and then I shot him and then he died, and I was like, wow, really close.
Yeah. Can be a little tricky if you don't know the strategies, but it's I think Vulcan's kind of has like his multiple stages, and he's pretty easy boss. Honestly, I think he's one of the easier bosses in the game. So.
Well, it's the thing. Like towards the ending, I'm like, oh, this game is gonna be so difficult. And I was thinking about this. Like, I'm like, I have to fight the Shagohod twice, Volgin. The boss is still coming up, and I was having so much difficulty with the Fury. I was gonna just quit, restart, start a very easy mode. I'm like, I guess I can't play games on normal. It's too challenging. But yeah, these last couple of bosses, super easy. I didn't even look up a strategy. The one was just like, you just shoot at the treads, obviously, and it just sits there. You just keep shooting. I'm like, okay. You have unlimited ammo.
Just unlock them.
Yeah, perfect, great. From here, though, it's not done yet, guys. You know that motorcycle game we were just doing? It's awesome. You get to do it more. More guys chase us, and we just keep shooting. You're like, yeah. And then at one point you crash. Now, this is really awesome, because Eva is now your companion. She slowly walks through the jungle. So I said, okay, come on, Eva, let's go. And I ran to the far end, and then I looked back and I saw her health was almost gone. And I was like, what happened? And then I went back and she was dead. So what you have to do is you have to shoot all the guards when they show up, because then she won't do anything unless they're gone. No, Eva, we can just walk faster than them. Come on. Come on, let's go. You like that? Well, 3 screens of that, and then you get to the final boss fight. Yay.
Yeah, there's always a slow companion walk piece in every Metal Gear Solid game, so here's this one.
I think it's worse than EE. Like, swimming around with the mines. At least that one's fun, because you can, like, drown her. You can, like, hit mines and, like, and then she dies at the end, and you're like, cool, awesome. You were kind of annoying, and you died on the bridge. Other than Otacon crying, I don't care. But this one, no, she just keeps going. And she kept saying, like, what are you doing? What are you wearing? I'm like, I'm wearing my golden outfit, obviously. Eva, this is who I am. I'm Golden Snake. Do not judge me. But she kept judging me. It was awful.
Yeah. But 3 scenes of slow companion follow section. Then you're on to the end of the game.
So painful. Yeah, and from there, we're at a flowery field. The boss gave Eva the philosopher's legacy, helped her escape. She's somehow working for us. It turns out that she, in fact, was not a traitor after all, but in fact was betraying the USA so that she could infiltrate Volgin, so she could get the philosopher's legacy for the US of A. She dies a hero. However, we have to kill her because she can't ever go back, because she has to die the villain. So the US doesn't look like they're the villains. You end up wanting to die in combat. You fight in a big flowery field. If you're gold, I recommend just hide behind a tree, grab that RPG, and just shoot her a bunch of missiles, and then she dies. It was great. I was like, why did you give me 20 RPGs? You shouldn't have done that. Silly game.
Yeah, I took the sniping her in the face
Yeah.
kind of route, and then she dies, and it's all sad, and everybody's like, oh no.
I think I beat this actually 2 tries. So the first time I tried with RPGs, more missed a bunch. The second time, yeah, I kind of just took her out with snuck up on her, shot her, sniper rifle, avoid, run. If she's coming close, smack her, time it so you can hit her with like an RPG, knock her down, run. And I beat her, similar thing, like final shot kind of got her. I was like, oh, okay, perfect, awesome. That does finish the game. But we're not done yet. From there, though, we do have to do... Oh, no, never mind. White field, flowers, emotional, beautiful, iconic. We have a CQC showdown, although that never happened. I never, every time she just ran up, she just knocked me out. Unless people were like, oh, you counter her CQC. No, I couldn't do it. Afterwards, pulls the trigger. Oh, yeah, and then at the end of the game, it just pulls back, and you're just sitting there, and I'm, waiting for something. And then if you pull the shoot button, you shoot her. So, okay. Ending. So Eva reveals the truth that the boss never defected and that she was a scapegoat to prevent World War III. Okay. The boss is declared, or Snake is declared big boss, but the ceremony is hollow. Snake mourns silently at her grave. And then there's a big thing about the CIA and the KGB and the Philosopher's Legacy conspiracy. It just, it begins.
Yep. Kind of sets up the whole conflict for the other franchise or other games. So.
Briefly, quickly, you want to know the ending? All right, that's it. I'm going to do it. So from here, Major Zero, who is the commanding officer, and Snake team up to create the Patriots. They take the Philosopher's Legacy, which was stolen by quadruple agent Revolver Ocelot. I don't know who he's working for, but ultimately he ends up working with Zero and Big Boss. They create the Patriots. Then they fall apart sometime in the 70s, the same time, because I believe Major Zero clones Big Boss and makes Solid and Liquid Snake, as well as Solid as Snake, leaves him to leave to create Outer Heaven. Meanwhile, Zero stays intact and becomes the head of the Patriots. That leads into the events of Ground Zero and Phantom Pain, which essentially is the story of Big Boss moving in the shadows while Venom Snake, his clone, sets up Outer Heaven and the events of the 2 MSX games, allowing him to pull the strings against Zero and the events of Metal Gear Solid to happen. Roughly, briefly, you don't need to know much more, but that's the story between this game and Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, and then there's 4 mixed in with that whole shenanigans. So a couple more games to kind of get the whole picture of everything, but this is just kind of setting it up that, the Patriots, where did their downfall come? How did everything get set up? What's the whole point of them?
Now, these are all told through, terrible
PSP,
Game Boy Advance games that we probably won't go to if we're coming back to the series. I could see PvP playing the Phantom Pain at some points, but more than likely it'd be like Metal Gear Solid 4, but Metal Gear Solid 4 literally is just a movie, so it's just us talking about the end of the game. So yeah, cool, awesome, great. Current thoughts of Metal Gear Solid 3. This game, I say, tests your patience. I don't like this game. It's cute. That has a James Bond theme song, but ultimately the survival viewer, the use of camo, and the lack of fun items in the game just leads me to not have a good time, not enjoy it. Oh, look, I get to change my camo again. Back to a menu. I got shot again in the stupid boss fight. Boss fights mostly were, take the knife out. Oh, better follow the checklist. It's not like you have to remember stuff. It's just clicking buttons. It's not challenging. Oh, bandages. Here you go. Make it cool, neat, simple idea, but way overused. It's awful. It comes up again and again. It makes boss fights tedious, and the rest of the game doesn't really exist. So then why am I playing this game? It's kind of a redundant thing. The boss fights are too cheap. The survival viewer is terrible, sucks, and I don't want to heal myself ever again. I found the controls in the world in Delta to be kind of shitty when compared to the OG PS2 version. All right, it looks better, but ultimately doesn't look that much better than, say, the 3DS version of the game, and plays handles almost as bad. So Delta, you're released. I know people seemed like they're excited about it. No one talked about it, probably because I don't think this is the best game. I think the 3DS version's better. Come on. I mean, that's probably not a lie. That's a lie, but that's my thoughts. Your thoughts? What are your current thoughts?
I mean, I really like this game.
Okay.
I have a blast playing this game. Like I said, it's kind of a James Bond thing, but mixed in with Metal Gear Solid. I don't mind kind of taking my time and like doing a bit of like stealth when needed.
Sure.
I think it like just flies by. I have a great time with this game, and like before I know it, you're just like, oh, it's over. I had a good time. So I really like this game. I think it plays really cool. I like the world that it sets up. I thought that the Delta remake did a pretty good job of like making everything look prettier. And yeah, I mean, I really like it. So
yeah, no, that's fair. And it's one of those things where it is interesting that in my mind, there is a narrative that like MGS1 is the best. And then people say this one is kind of better than the original and everyone shits on the second one. But I almost would be like, I think MGS1 is probably the best. But I don't know if I like Sons of the Patriots. I think for what it's doing narrative wise, I think MGS2 works better than MGS3. And that's just my opinion. Though, like, I would rank it significantly lower, if not even like, this might be a skippable game, right? Like off the cuff, I just played it. I might argue that I'm like, you just don't play this one. Play 1, 2, and 4, and you get like a better story. Just 3's useless. It's nonsense. It's like watching Darth Vader be a pod racer.
that's fair. I mean, I hard disagree. I think that this is the best Metal Gear Solid game. Then 1, then 4, then 2, not including 5 at all in that ranking.
And like,
yeah.
and
I think that this is the best.
And I think that's general consensus too, right? Like if you were to sit and rank them, and you ask a bunch of people. It is funny, though, as doing research for this, I was like, okay, but I'm wrong. Like, I'm the wrong one. Thinking that Metal Gear Solid 2, obviously, I played it at the right time and have nostalgia for it and spent time with it in the right moment in my life to make it greater. No, I watched just, like, 2 videos and 2 people. Like, one guy, he's like, I've never played any of these Metal Gear Solid games. And he's, like, going through it, and he's like, I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is better than Metal Gear Solid 1. And he gets to 3, and he's like, I found this game had, like, added nothing to the series, and he like ranked it way lower, and I was like, what? So it is one of those things where I don't know if it's just like a taste thing, right? I really don't know what is it just Raiden? People hate Raiden that much, and they're like, Big Boss, and you're like, but it's a better game because you get to be cool guy, you're not stupid Raiden.
I don't know. I think that this game does a great job of like moving you forward. Where I found like Metal Gear Solid 2 is like backtrack the video game, and I fucking hate backtracking in any video game. Any game that you make me want to backtrack constantly drives me nuts. That's why I don't like Metroidvanias. Like I think Metroidvanias are kind of just not good. Whereas this game, like from a playing perspective, makes you feel like you're always moving forward, and you're like, yeah, you're kind of playing through a unique adventure as opposed to backtracking to go grab a box, to walk to another area, to grab a different box, and you're just like,
yeah, it's the sniper rifle.
Drives me nuts.
People say like the sniper rifle part in MGS1 sucks, but it does make Shadow Moses very, very memorable, right? So there's kind of like I view it almost as, yeah, I agree. I don't think backtracking is great, but when it heightens a setting, an environment in a game and it elevates it, right? Because look back in the environments, and if I was to say rank them, right? Let's just rank environments. Like Shadow Moses would be up there, right? Compared to this jungle. I mean, Big Shell I would knock down. It's boring. It's weird. It's orange. Why is it so gross and orange? That's a weird color that you chose to show MGS2. Right, but I find that Shadow Moses is just really appealing in the cold, frigid, steel cement building. I don't know, like it has it's so cool, and I think it's because you spend the time and you have to run back to the tank hangar, and right, that it kind of stands out in your mind, and you can notice things like, oh, why is this tank now moved? Oh, that's weird. There's 2 tanks now. There's only 1, and there's treads. You know, like it plays around with those kind of expectations, and I think creates a fun environment. But I also don't want to sit here and say I like backtracking in video games. I like, it's a weird dilemma in the Metal Gear Solid games. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. Like, unless, like, would you argue that this environment is greater? Is more memorable? You remembered more things?
No.
Shadow Moses, you remember.
Yeah, that's because it's like got very distinct areas. But Metal Gear Solid, some of the worst parts of that game is the backtracking. You can't sit here and tell me that, okay, well, yeah, it's interesting to get the sniper rifle, but same time, is this not just a waste of your time at the end of the day to see those two things that changed? Same thing with like the, hey, go get this key card and backtrack like 3 times. Like,
and like
that's not fun.
No, but that's what I'm agreeing that I'm going to say no. I don't think backtracking is good or it's good for the gameplay, but I think it is a positive in MGS1 because it makes those environments just so much more memorable, right? And it kind of like having to run back through the Psycho Mantis room a few times, right? To kind of carry on with the game, it just adds that more lived in work. Like I'm like I know Shadow, like I could draw Shadow Moses. Draw me the map of this game.
I don't really care about how memorable an environment is. I care more about the story that it's telling. And I don't know. To me, it's this game has a very interesting. This game sets up the Metal Gear Solid world very interestingly. Where I think 2 is like, here's some random exposition tossed in your face. How does this make any sense? Nope. But here it is.
But it is I think it's told in the story of. I mean, it's weird. For a 20-year-old game to go back and play, well, even older now, 24, 23 years old? In MGS2, that is. Go back and listen to that game and listen to the end dialogue of that game, and they're like, AI is coming and taking over, and like, what do we discern, and like, how does AI differentiate and hold information from the masses, and like, how do we influence and manipulate people by controlling certain amounts of information and giving it to them, and like what kind of chaos can we create and narratives can we like have people go their whole lives through and create whole situations just by like you're like what the fuck. Like Kojima literally was just talking about now data in our age with AI with like what do you know is real when everything can be manipulated. Like it's one of those things where it's such a compelling narrative that I think has like lasted the test of time. It is interesting to go back to and listen to this like philosophical story being told to you, right? In the MGS2. And maybe that's why I like recently going back and watching some retrospectives and you're like, this is really relevant. Like this is definitely a thing we should be talking about, and we should have more media that's like dealing with this shit, like let's talk about this shit as a people, right? As important as I think nuclear proliferation was, say, in the first game, right? And they really tried to influence just war is bad, nuclear war is terrible, nuclear bombs are awful. They try and break through what's the next big field, what's the next big enemy. It's nuclear war as well as information, data, AI, right? And the fact Kojima kind of had his like finger on the pulse in those situations. Now I think the way that they weaved the narrative of Metal Gears and just a solid series in the universe into actual history, right? And kind of gave us who are the Patriots, and it's satisfying and it makes sense, and you never question it, right? So I will say in that point, from a storytelling point of view, I think I like just what's going on, like kind of the bigger narrative conversation in MGS2 than like the MGS3, because it does seem kind of just the same. War is hell, right?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I'm also, I noted that like round 107, you say, I'm going to be gone, and I'll just cut and when everything's pieced together. At least I know what to look for it.
Yeah. No,
cool.
Sorry about that.
No, all good. Don't be sorry. Quick break. Sorry. So with that, again, I don't know. I wanted to kind of mention that because I found that the rankings of these, say, like Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3, right? Like if we were to do that, it is weird how diverse it can be, right? It seems like it should be straightforward. It's either maybe 3 or 1, depending your preference, and then 2 is obviously the worst. But to see that there are some people that are like, nah, 2 is actually pretty good. Oh. Yeah,
there's also a bunch of people that think Final Fantasy VIII is a good game, so...
Fair.
Some people could just be wrong.
But like, is it just one of those things where like Final Fantasy... But that's the thing. Like, you got Final Fantasy VIII, that was your first one. You spent the hours as a kid playing it. You spent 100 hours. You're like, it is the best. Whereas I spent the most time in my life, the formative years. I got tricked by the ending. I restarted. I thought I broke my PS2 because the AI told me it was broken. What the hell? And I'm like, it made me believe something. It was like it changed. Whereas this game, I played it and I was like, what? I just kept pressing R1 and looking at Eva's boobs. That's all, that's all this game gave me. I was like, what the fuck? Anyways, current thoughts. What'd you change? Like, honestly, what would I change? The survival viewer. It was cool. It was ambitious. I think we spent enough time in the menus with the camouflage. I didn't need to also spend time in menus to fix my bullet wounds.
That's fair. I think it was kind of like a interesting add-on. Maybe you could skip it. What would I change is I would add a little bit more like weapons customization, because this is kind of like here's all these awesome weapons that you get, but then you like, well, I can't change the scope, or I can't do this, can't do that, can't get like some attachments or some mods or something. I'm like, I think that'd be kind of fun.
That's a great idea. Yeah, exactly. You show up with basic rifle, basic pistol, and as you defeat enemies and bosses and find stuff, you can like upgrade and get a better sniper and more ammo and this. Cool, neat.
Or like,
or what I'd say we change.
Go ahead.
Is you can't do survival, camo, and food, or all three boring menus. Pick one or two. Don't do three. That's probably what I would say. Like, if I was to change and give them feedback, I'm like, spend more time playing, less time in menus.
Yeah. I see their ambition behind it. But at the same time, it's like, does it really like bog down with too many systems? Potentially.
Sure. But just be creative. Okay, you want to do camo differently? When you lay in the grass, you have special camo, and you can like adjust colors, and you give you a color wheel, and I move the dial, and it like changes my like rating. But it's like special technology. I mean, it's a magical world with fucking Metal Gears. Of course we can have magical suits. You know, instead of being like, oh, just get me out of the menu. That's all I'm saying. It's like, you can do these things. Just stop with your menus. From there, though, that wraps up the game. Both of our previous episodes, and I think we even talked about it, Metal Gear Solid 1 was probably our longest podcast up to that date. It ranks in something like 140, 150, an hour, 40 hour, 50 minutes. Metal Gear Solid 2, we did a little while too. We talked for quite a while, right? But those are kind of big games, big narratives, a lot going on. This game, well, it's because it's already streamlined. It feels like and plays like the Twin Snakes and Metal Gear Solid 2. Okay. So what are the things? Well, they give you menus, and the menus just aren't that exciting.
But I think it does a decent-ish job telling you a unique fun story that kind of sets up the whole world.
Narratively, you're going to put like, what game has a better story? This game probably is the cleanest, just start to finish. You pick up a game, you're finished, you walk away. It has a through line. They were like, yeah, we know what we're doing with this. So it probably has like the best story. It's the best standalone game in terms of the whole series. I don't know if it's the best, but
that's fair. That's fair.
How about, and why aren't we talking about it as much? I don't know if that's just reflected in like and I think it's the game doesn't have that much content too, right? Like you just run. And then you get story, cool, awesome, neat. You get character development, you get growth, you get to see big boss, you get to play him a little bit, you get to know this guy. Yeah, cool, awesome. But I don't know, it like doesn't go anywhere, right? Because there's so many mysteries. And what happens next? It sets up so many things. Are you buying it? I don't know why I'm trying to explain why we're not talking more about this instead of just talking more about this. Because I'm adding padding, guys. It's all about those minutes. All about those minutes. Are you buying it? So, traveling back in time in the Metal Gear series is the best way to tell a story because ultimately they had zero idea about where the story was going after Metal Gear Solid 2. Or were they just biding time so the technology could advance and then they could tell the epic 16-hour MGS4 story?
My thoughts on it is Metal Gear Solid 2 is such a dumpster fire that they needed to go back into the past so they could set up some things so that Metal Gear Solid 2 might somehow make sense in retrospect. Because Metal Gear Solid 2 is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, so. It doesn't make sense. Lots of stuff happens.
Well,
Liquid
it's like let's talk about forever about AI that doesn't actually say anything, but it's kind of trying to. And then the Patriots aren't really a thing; they're all dead. But that doesn't make any sense.
Like I said, though, that is a 23-year-old game, kind of predicting the future a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't say because they don't really know what's exactly what AI is going to look like in the future, right? But like what they guessed and what ultimately happened, pretty close, right? That's all I'm saying. Just if you listen, you're like, oh fuck. And
I just think that it's just like they were just throwing like,
oh,
isn't this a cool concept? Let's not explore it or explain it, but let's talk about it like we know what we're talking about.
I mean,
and it just seems like such a surface level.
I will concur that like what does it do to the series? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Like it's just useless. And I think like we're like, can you go back in time for like 5 games? Because like, what were we talking about? Like, no, don't worry. Remember GW EE's creation? Yeah, from MGS2. That's what ultimately will save the day in MGS4. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like Metal Gear Solid 1, we're like, okay, cool. Let's kind of like set up like an interesting world with like these different political leanings and have like these different parties involved. I'm just kind of just going for something. And it's kind of like, who can you trust? 2 was like, who can you trust? Screw you. We're subverting your expectations. It's the Rain Johnson thing where it's like, I'm going to subvert expectations with no idea of how to actually progress this. So somebody else can show up and be like, fix it.
No, Ray, you are nobody. Literally no one. I don't even consider a Palpatine a person. Fuck off. Episode 8.
Somehow he returned. Whereas I feel like this game tried to really set it up so between this and 5, like it kind of starts building the gaps between like the original MSX games, the original Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah. This one is kind of like they're starting to like put the building blocks in place. Like somebody actually finally sat down and we're like, okay, how can all this random crap that we were talking about start to connect?
And for people that love universes and love going back to that, prequels can be great. I've like just like any prequel property, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about you at all. But did you watch this No, I don't care about the old Star Wars. I don't. I don't. I don't like the new one either, so I don't think I like any.
Sometimes it's okay to not like Star Wars.
Sometimes
it's okay to not like Star Wars.
You think Star Wars could have just been 2 movies. Star Wars and Empire, and they could have just stopped, and I think it probably would have been better sometimes. Like I think about what exists now, and I'm like,
I mean, I like Return of the Jedi, so I'm biased on that one.
All right. From there, do you have anything else about Metal Gear Solid? Kind of, no, we revisioned, we kind of ranked them. We will get to play a game to find out who the best Snake is, but we have 2 AI made. I don't know if we should be talking so badly about AI. I do ask them to listen to our show. Cultural significance. In this section, we look at game design, the lore, inspiration, turning points, interesting stories, talk about how this game relates, give other examples, and tie it all back together in the end. So option 1, the best prequel ever made. So MGS3 is often cited as one of the best prequels in gaming, alongside Red Dead Redemption 2 and Yakuza 0. It reframes the entire MGS franchise. Everything that happens later stems from the events of this game. The boss is a rare, morally complex mentor antagonist, influencing characters like Kriya from KOTOR 2, Dutch from Red Dead Redemption 2, Big Daddy's BioShock design philosophy. And this game proves a prequel can enhance the original instead of spoiling it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also like, I like the way they take with the story. I think this does a good job of setting that up.
And if you like the lore and you like Peace Walker,
a lot of the problems.
And you like Peace Walker and you like Phantom Pain and like you're in for Ground Zero, right? Cool, awesome. Yes. Yeah, it's going to give you a lot of legway and a lot of just world to play in, right? Kind of in lead up to what is kind of like the conclusion, a minor story, right? Ultimately, MGS1 means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It was just some players interacting one day on some puppets, on a little stage acted out for a couple hours, a little discrepancy, but really it means nothing. Here's the giant universe. Yeah, I believe that. I agree with that. And I guess Red Dead is a sequel, but I never play past the point when you die. Like, I've never played the John part because I'm like, I don't like John. I never played the first one. I just like Arthur.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a hard time with Red Dead 2 because it's like I feel like I'm spending like 16 hours just walking around the snow on a mountain. And I'm like, please, just let me play the game.
I I feel, yeah, once you get past that part, it's not bad. And option 2, though, for cultural significance, is we get survival mechanics that changed game design. So prior to this, stealth games rarely had survival systems. MGS3 introduced stamina menu, food hunting, and then the food menu, camouflage percentage menu, manual injury treatment menu. Later games borrowed these ideas, like The Last of Us, okay, Red Dead Redemption, the hunting and survival, Far Cry, the healing animation, wildlife system. The Jungle itself influenced environmental games or design across multiple genres. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're not integrated super well, but I think that they were ambitious.
Yeah.
They were ambitious.
Yeah, and I guess no one did this beforehand, and you're right. Like, survival systems and crafting food in, like, a Skyrim or, like, a Fallout is a lot of fun, and it did come from this game. So I guess if you're looking at it from, like, a game design point of view and a game historian point of view, which is often kind of like how I like to come at it from a Podtendo point of view, I get it. I understand it's a important game. I'm just saying. But I don't think I like it as much as Metal Gear Solid 2. That's my own personal preference. Other than that, I think it's a fun game. It's good. Good story, good narrative. Lots of menus, which ultimately later influenced other experiences. I just don't think it was done super well up front. But ambition can often be the death of gaming. And do I think all the ambition killed this experience? In my opinion, yes. I do. I do feel like the menus, the bogging down, ultimately hurts the experience, right? Which I think could be a more fun, fleshed out experience if they just kind of worked those a little bit more. But I guess you need to know where you came from to know where you're going. Cool.
Yeah. Or in the case of Metal Gear Solid 2, have no idea what you're doing, but just do it anyways.
It was all simulation, don't you see? It's all.
Yeah, it was all simulation, except for the parts that weren't, because AI, and if we don't do something, then who knows what we're gonna do? But we technically didn't do anything. Okay, you're right. Let's just keep ignoring it. It's like,
well, the media could influence how people act and know and like rewrite history, and I'm like, yeah, it's true, good. But one thing we can't do, although I'm not gonna spoil it. You haven't listened to I like our MGS2 podcast. Maybe that's why it's influenced me. I was like, that's a good podcast. That's good. Who is the best snake? So finally, Tyson will decide of the 3 snakes that we have played through the 4 Metal Gear Solid games. So it's Naked Snake in this game, Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid, and then Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2. So we're gonna find out who is the best snake. Ready?
Ready.
All right. So look at this. Best environment. Wow, it's like a category I mentioned earlier. So which game has, or which snake plays in the best environment? Do you think of the jungles or like the factory? Kind of like all stand out and are so unique and different in MGS3 as it could be the factory or the ice or like the little bit of jungle from MGS2. Maybe you go to the outer heaven. Maybe Shadow Moses stands out in your brain. Or is it the big shell / factory settings of MGS2? Which game has the best environment?
It's Solid Snake. Like Shadow Moses is awesome. It's very cool. Every environment looks very like unique. It's even got like some like a boiler room or even like a cold storage. Like you just say those names and you're like, I can picture those exact locations. Saying Grozny Grad and you're like, what was that location again? No idea.
Every screen is like just the most Russian sounding name. It's like East Gornornovich River. What the? Yeah. I don't know where I am. Game. You're not helping.
It's like northwest of that area. And you're like, okay, I still have no idea where.
And then it gives you like the Russian translation, and I'm like, you're not helping. Like, you just call it south or All right. What has the best stealth technology? So could it be big bosses, battery draining radar? How about his camo? Or how about Solid Snake? He has Soliton radar, he has a bandana for infinite health, and he has stealth armor. Or could it be Raiden, who also has Soliton radar, a bandana for infinite ammo, and stealth armor?
I mean, I don't mind the camo system, but I'm going to give it to the Soliton. Like, I'll give it to Solid Snake again, because he originally did it. The cones on the map, just to know where people's, like, vision is.
Yeah.
It's such a unique, like, I do miss that part.
Yes.
When I replay Metal Gear Solid 3.
So
I'll give it to Solid Snake again.
I think best stealth parts in games, like Majora's Mask, the little Deku guys, they all have like vision bubbles. And you're like, that's what you need. So I know where you can see. Perfect. Okay, how about who is the best ally? So in this game, we get Major Zero, how about Eva, Sigint, you like a DARPA chief hanging out with you all day. Woo! And so number 2, you get Colonel, you get Otacon, and you get Grey Wolf. He's a ninja. And I guess maybe Meryl. Maybe.
Yeah.
And so number 2, though, you do get Solid Snake as an ally. That's pretty good. You get Olga, who's a ninja. You do get Otacon and Tyson's favorite, EE.
Again, go on a Solid Snake on this one.
Right.
He just actually has all the memorable characters without all the frustrations.
Yep.
I kind of just forget about Major Zero, Ava, Paramedic. I just kind of forget about them. Like, I know you can kind of like chat a little bit with Paramedic to be like, this reminds me of this one movie. And then she's this huge movie nerd. And they're like, I like this conversation way more than I like
character Colonel is in the original, and he like coming back, it's not him, but it's like a kind of a fake version in MGS2. He's such an iconic character. And then like Major Zero, who is the second most important character in the entire game series, has no personality. Like I'm like, really, Major Zero? But he's so boring and he doesn't do anything and he just like provides zero personality. And I'm like, that's Big Boss's like partner.
Yeah,
he's in
well, I
charge of
feel like
he's the ultimate bad in charge of the Patriots at the end. Like, really?
I think the big issue is they were responding to how awful the codec conversations are in Metal Gear Solid 2, where they're like, okay, well, let's just cut down on the codecs. Unless they're necessary, let's cut them down. Because, like, the codecs in number 1, where everybody's calling you, and they sometimes have interesting things to say, but it's very, like, quick and efficient. Mm-hmm. 2 is, like, the most bogged down with just, let me talk at your character and have your character just be a complete nincompoop. And then in 3, they're like, well, let's maybe not do more codec calls. Maybe we overdid it in 2. So, again, I'm going to go with Solid Snake. Yeah. He is the most interesting cast. So,
okay. Cool. From there, best villain. So is it the Cobra unit with the fear and the sorrow and the fury? How about Foxhound? You got Psycho Mantis. Oh, I see you've been playing Super Mario Sunshine. Sniper Wolf, Vulcan Raven. Or about New Foxhound, which is Vamp, Fat Man, Fortune.
This is an easy one. It's the original Foxhound with Psycho Mantis, Sniper Wolf, Vulcan Raven. Like, you just, like, all these characters are very, like, interesting. And I remember, like, just flipping through the manual as a kid and, like, going to, like, the Foxhound group. And you're like, who's this decoy octopus?
Yep.
And you're like, man, I can't wait to meet these characters. And, like, each of the characters are very, like, unique and interesting, where I feel like the fear is, like, I'm a bug guy. And you're like, oh, or no, he's like, I'm the sniper. And then the Fury's like, I'm a spaceman. And Sorrow's like, I'm dead and sad.
I'm dead and sad. Like, I literally was never here, but also I'm Ocelot's dad because the boss is Ocelot's mom. What the fuck? Okay.
Makes no sense. And then New Foxhound is like, who cares about any of these characters? They barely interact with one another unless it's Vamp and Fortune. And Vamp kind of rubs me the wrong way, and Fortune's kind of useless and very stupid. That's like, oh, you didn't realize that this clearly, like, electronically, like, magnet thing that's attached to your belt is the source of your powers? And you're like, how did you not notice this?
Yeah,
it's like, does somebody dress you? Like, this makes no sense.
You do get Liquid Ocelot, which is pretty cool, brother. What about who was the best Metal Gear fight? I didn't do as many sound bites. I'll be honest with you. I think in terms of sound bites, the first game, I'm pretty sure every time we got to like a part, I'd be like, Naomi, Chief, what the hell? Which is good. And then I did a lot of like nonsensical jabberings towards the end of the second podcast. In this one, there's just not as many good sound bites. So that's a downfall. But who has the best Metal Gear? Could it be the Shagohod? That's fun. He chases you around on a bike. Could it be Metal Gear Rex? Everyone loves Rex. Or could it be an assault of Metal Gear Rays and Arsenal Gear? Yeah,
it's not two. It's kind of a debate between Metal Gear Solid Rex and Shagohod. I think Rex, like, as much as I like Rex, that boss battle's kind of like boring. Whereas I feel like the Shagohod fight has actually like some different elements to it. There's a chase scene, like you actually get to blow everything up. Obviously, from a design perspective, the Shagohod sucks compared to Metal Gear Rex.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, I'm leaning to Metal Gear Rex. Like, he just has the coolest design.
Well,
the boss battle's kind of underwhelming, but again, it's like, yeah, this is clearly the coolest looking one.
And the only reason to play Metal Gear Solid 4 is to get to the part where you get to play as Metal Gear Rex and escape Shadow Moses. So,
yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, Metal Gear Rex is the best Metal Gear.
Okay.
So,
what about which game has the most frustrating moments? Could it be the bosses, or the time you spend in the survival view, or the menus, or the lack of rations in MGS3, or could it be the PAL key card? And you have to like change it from different temperatures, or in Metal Gear Solid, or in Metal Gear Solid 2, could it be talking to Rose, or the ending?
it's Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
That entire game just frustrates me.
All right, so a couple categories to go. It is going to be a runaway, but Metal Gear Solid 2, you got a couple categories under your belt, so you can make it close. 5-4 if you get it. So, what is the best ending stinger? Oh yeah, that's right. Credits roll. You got to have a weird call that you're like, what is happening? So could it be, they don't know me? This is Ocelot is working for the CIA, and we have the legacy to start the Patriots. That's kind of what he says. All right, cool. That's from this one. Or could it be Ocelot again at the end of MGS1 saying, it all went according to plan, Mr. President. You're like, what the fuck? The president's in on this? Or could it be Otacon being like, that list of the Patriots, they've all died for 100 years. Otacon, what the hell's going on? So, of all those stingers, which stinger lands the best?
I think it's everything went according to plan, Mr. President.
Mr. President. You're like, what the fuck?
Oh, wait. Like, what's happening? Like, everybody was working for, this is all set up? Kind of get your head like, oh, I should replay this with that in mind. And then you do, and it makes no difference.
No,
but still,
literally
it's like,
nothing.
got the best, like, spin on it. It's cool.
The president had nothing to do with it. It was just the Secretary of Defense. Don't worry, the Colonel, I've handled this. George Sear is definitely not bad. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. He does look like me, so I can trust him.
Yeah.
You say so, Colonel. All right, and then finally, that basically gives it for 6-2, one category left. Poor Naked Snake got nothing. Biggest accomplishment. So which snake has the biggest accomplishment? Could it be Big Boss from this game? So he stopped the boss, who was actually working for the CIA, the same people he was doing. Okay. How about Solid Snake? He stopped Big Boss and Liquid Snake. That's pretty exciting. He also started like a philanthropist group called something that stops Metal Gears. It's like a non-for-profit. It's pretty cool. A lot of charity work in the community. Or Raiden. He was manipulated by advertising and killed his dad. Solid Snake is his dad? I think it might be. He's like, Jack, I am your father.
Yes, because this story is dumb. I think I'm going to give this one to, like, Metal Gear Solid 3, just because, like, yeah, he stopped the boss, but he kind of prevented World War 3. Kind of a big deal. Metal Gear Solid, Snake just kind of, like, you know, he stops them from launching, like, nukes or whatever, but I feel like the threat of World War 3 is a little bit bigger than that. So I'm leaning towards Metal Gear Solid 3 on this one, because I feel like preventing World War 3 is kind of a big deal. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, good job, Metal Gear Solid 3. You got 1 point. So it's 6. No, at 5. No, 6. Solid Snake wins. He's the best Snake. Raiden, you're the second best Snake with 2 categories. And Naked Snake.
No, he only won 1, and that was the negative.
No, but he also got Soliton radar and ammunition stealth, because like it's the same game. And like if you say 1 is the best, technically he also had the best. So
yeah, no, it was just copying what a better game did. So and 1's a negative. So if it got 1 point for that and it got -1, so that one's technically like at 0. Metal Gear Solid 3 got 1. The rest went to Solid Snake. So
it's a very good point. You could change the information to change the narrative in any way, shape, or form that you could. Autonomous voice that maybe doesn't have a physical body.
Yes. Well, I've never been seen on video, so I don't exist.
There you go. See, we could just be AI this whole time. And in fact, this was actually Metal Gear Solid 2, not Metal Gear Solid 3 podcast the whole time. Colonel, what the hell? The two podcast hosts have been dead for 100 years.
Yep.
That's why I should have ended this one. Oh my god, I just looked up the two podcast hosts. Both of them have been dead for 100 years. Colonel, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then,
well, I mean, I think
and then our next show will be a prequel to back in the 60s when we play board games. Ooh, guys, we're here.
Yes.
We're here playing checkers. It's crazy. You jump stuff diagonally.
I only ever play Connect 4. That's
Okay.
about where my experience of board games go.
There you go. So
Everything else too complicated.
So, shorter show. We're done. We are back. We're starting actually a new game series in 2 weeks' time. So, we'll be doing a dive into a Zelda game. So, I have a big Zelda part coming out. I think we're playing like another game in a month and go from there. So, unless there's something else? No? Yes? Good?
I mean, kind of keep chipping away at the Metal Gear Solid franchise when we kind of get to it. I don't know how motivated we are going to be.
At least 4, and then we'll stop. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. But gonna say goodbye, and see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep. See you, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt